So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot. Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Good morning, good morning, good morning, sunshine. How are you? Uh-oh, you're muted. You don't want to talk to me today? Oh, I can't take it. Oh,
Am I muted still on your
okay,
end?
now that's
Am I
much
good?
better. Now I'm
All right,
happy.
good. Thank you. I just wanted you to keep singing to me. I was excited. This is
Look,
great.
say less. Look, I promise you this. You come over here and help me do the spring cleaning, I'll sing to you, give you a full throttle concert. Do you hear me?
That is a fair trade. Done and done. I'm in.
I love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule because I know that you have been extremely busy. We have a new hit series getting ready to hit Discovery Channel March 9th. I am going to do all of my cleaning beforehand because right now I feel as if someone told on me. I started decluttering one closet and now the whole crib looks like the closet. And you were
What gets
like
messy? Yeah.
the expert
What-
of telling us how to stay focused. And I have questions that need answers.
Let's do it. I've been doing this 20 years. I was on Hoarders for 15 years. I've been cleaning the messiest houses in the country. So ask away.
But Matt, how did you even know you wanted to get started with that? Because I'll see the mess and run off.
Yeah, I failed at everything else, so that was the only job left. I was 24. My dad, my stepdad, both my grandfathers passed away, so I was cleaning out my grandma's house
Yeah.
and doing what you do as a kid, right? I was my job to help my grandma, and ended up I didn't realize how much I would love the stories because I'd be like, "Well, what'd you do here?" She's like, "Oh, I was in the war. I worked in this factory, and I did this and I did that." I mean, this is 26 years ago. And then
Right.
all of my grandma's friends started hiring me, and I got to hear all these incredible stories of the war and people coming over to Ellis Island. And I just fell in love with the stories, right? And the culture and the history. And it was amazing. And I was like, and my grandpa had always said, do the work nobody wants to do, and you'll always have a job. And so, like, about 2 weeks in, I was like, this is what he's talking about. And that's been my business plan ever since. And now I get to help people all over the country 26 years later.
And I
I love it.
absolutely love it. That's the story behind the story that a lot of people really don't get. Because, when you're starting to declutter, you do get caught up in a time capsule, which makes it even
Totally.
harder if it's your stuff
Yeah.
or family member stuff. Because now it's like, what part of that do you want to give up? What part do you want to save for later? Do you really need this or do you really not need it?
Yeah, and then you have like world events. Like, so we did a house down in New Orleans in this episode, and everything got taken in Katrina, right? So that person's lifespan, history span was really only 20 years. And so that's a whole different clean out, right? Because they're holding on to more things, rightfully so, because they lost everything not that long ago, right? And so you've always got to manage everything from life events to family events to history. And then we got to find, can I sell it? Does it have any value? Right? Like what's the value there? I mean, that house specifically, there was a poster. I saw it in a picture. We were estimating the house. They sent me they said, we need help cleaning out. Families always call us. They don't know what to do. They're lost. They don't know if there's any value. I saw a 1976 New Orleans Jazz Festival poster. And I knew from my career, that was the first year they did posters, and they only made 100 of them.
Wow.
And so that poster's worth like $5-8 grand, depending upon the quality, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, if that's real, he's like, yeah, it was my mom's. I was like, I'll see you. I'm getting in the car. Because right then and there, I knew I could cover my cost just with that poster, right?
I
And so
love
then I
that.
was in, and we just wanted to help the guy, right? But our job, we got to front our costs, right? And then we got to find enough stuff in the house to sell to not only cover our costs, but make a profit for the family and for us. And sometimes we cover it, and sometimes we don't.
But that also shows us that we can walk past things every single day and take it for granted, not realizing the value of what we have in our possession. Like you saw
Stuff
that
and
poster and you saw, oh,
Mhm.
look, this is an antique, only 100 made. He walked past it every day like, why does she still have this hanging on the wall?
Yeah, he thought it was a poster. He thought it was his mom's poster, right? And I'm like, no, that's an $8,000 print, man. That's pretty special, And look, same thing with people, right? You can walk by people and not know how special they are too.
Yeah.
And that's what this job teaches you, man. Like you you learn that there is value in the things that you don't think have value, and a lot of times there's no value in the things that you do have value. And
You
I'm
have
getting
such
deeper
an
than
old spirit, and
that.
that's nurturing because so many people need to hear that and they'll miss that message, not understanding it. But with your show, Filthy Fortunes, this is what I like to call edutainment because you're educating us while entertaining us. And this is big because you're catching us off guard.
Yeah, you're not gonna want to like my show, and you're gonna love it. Like it's one of those things you're like, I'll give it 5 minutes, and then you're like, damn, this is interesting,
Yeah,
and it
addicted.
really is. Yeah, and it's look, we come into gross houses. I mean, like I picked up this one old vintage milk churner, right? Like vintage, it's a 200-year-old milk churner. One that would have
Hmm.
the stick in it, and you turn the butter, and it was
Yes.
beautiful. It was Victorian. Like my eyes, like it might be 300 years old. I know this is worth $1,200 because it had the wooden top on it,
Right.
and the wooden top is always lost. And so I pulled the wooden top off, and like 20 rats ran out of it, and I had no
Time
clue,
to
right?
go.
And so for us, that's a funny Tuesday, right? But like for an average person, they're running out, they're not going back in the house ever again. And so we love the gross. And then what we learned is the grosser the house, the cooler the stuff you're going to find on the other side. And so we love
Wow.
it. And then we get to help a family selling all stuff. And like, I mean, you'll see a couple episodes where we find things the family had no clue were in the house, and it changes their life forever. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely changes their life. And it's a fun job, man. If you can't tell, I love it. I love what I do.
Absolutely. But just think about it. You started doing the job that no one else wanted to do. And here it is, internationally known, Emmy nominated, and still pushing forward with new episodes and
Yeah.
helping families with things that they really need help on. I mean, that
Yeah.
itself
And
is
hiring
phenomenal.
and hiring folks that don't really have a place in the professional world, and they end up finding a great place in our career, our jobs. I mean, I love it. Like you'll meet some of my guys. I mean, Chris is a guy you'll see on this show, and Chris used to sell me Slurpees at 7-Eleven. And I
Yeah.
talked to Chris for like 2 years before I hired him, right? And now this guy's traveling around the world with me and gets to see. I mean, I got to take Chris mountain biking in Santa Cruz, and this dude had never
What?
left like a 10-block radius in Richmond, Virginia.
Well, you tell Chris if
And
Chris need
like,
an assistant, I'm here. You know what I mean?
watch
Like,
out, Chris. Chris would love that. I can assure you. We
I
love
love
look,
it.
we love it, man. We get to help people. We get to see cool things, and we find history in people's houses sometimes. And so like it's very exciting. I hope people will watch it Sunday night. You're going to be surprised how much you love it.
Absolutely. I'm already all in. Like I'm binge watching. I got my popcorn and a trash bag next to me so I can remember to throw it away
There
right
you
then
go.
because we can't wait. You are like that conviction that we all need. Look, don't forget Filthy Fortunes. We're roaming through the house and all the cabinets to say, hey, you know what? Is Matt on his way now or should we call him later? Because, it's a
Sign up for
scavenger hunt.
season. It is. Sign up for season 2. If you think you got a messy house and you got some cool stuff in it, we'd love to come do it. What I tell everybody is you'll be watching the show and your phone's going to be right next to you. We know that. So go ahead. First of all, friend me on TikTok and Instagram, and then start looking up the items you got in your house. Like look online to see how much they sold for, because you'd be
Wow.
surprised how much some of the stuff in your house will go for and how little some of the other things will go for. Your beanie
This is
babies aren't
true.
worth anything. I'll tell you that right now. They're worth nothing.
Filthy Fortunes. It is going to be a sensation. And I want you to think of this as an extension of your office. So whenever you have anything going on, you tell them that you need to jump in the hot seat on the tan line or just come back to Louisiana and do more episodes. And it's done.
I will. I'm just not doing it in August next time. It was
Oh,
hot.
absolutely not. I'm glad you listened to your grandparents and your dad and just did this because now we're learning so much through this, seeing the value in things, the moments that are now memories, and the fortune in it, even through the filth sometimes. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Anytime. I know you have more work to do, so I'm gonna let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.